This is part 2 of The Truth About Bentinho Massaro. If you haven't seen part 1, go click on this video right here. But for all the people that have seen part 1, you're probably waiting on part 2, and here it is. Today we're going to talk about Bentinho Massaro. We're going to go look at some videos, and I will show you some clips and some context about these clips. It's going to get crazy. You will learn about the pitfalls of non-duality, and also I have my laptop here to look up some clips that I will show in this video. For the people that haven't seen the Insta Guru series, there's a series where Jade is talking about what happened to her with Bentinho Massaro. Also Keelan came forward and Jacqueline. Check out those videos on Insta Guru. I don't promote those, but that's just to get some context about what's happening right here. In that series, Jade talks about rape roleplay. Like, I had to hear it 2 times because I couldn't believe it. About Bentinho Massaro actually demanding rape roleplay. They never had sex. Rape roleplay from the very start. That is rape, in my opinion. To do rape roleplay and resist it, but it's weird. Like, how are you gonna come to someone you haven't had sex with or kissed or whatever, and then instantly you want to do rape roleplay? To me, that's, really weird. And I looked at a clip of 2018. This is a video out of 2018 of Bentinho Massaro, and the title is "You Are Source." Now, this is basic non-duality teaching. Basic non-duality teaching means that you are source, you are one with God, you are in that oneness, I am. That's all being taught by gurus, and that's something that has been existing forever. That's since in ancient times. Those teachings were alive back then, so it's nothing new. The only thing that you now see with non-duality is, even though you might understand, as Bentinho, you might understand things about consciousness or non-duality, or even if he doesn't understand it, he has read about it a lot, so he probably intellectually understands it quite well. But then how that can be used for endless negative things in the world. Look at this clip right here.
You've actually decided that you are source. You don't need it from anyone. You don't need it from any object. You don't need it from pleasure. You don't need it from safety. You are it. If you are it, you don't need it. You don't need to be safe to be source. You can be absolutely unsafe, in process of being raped, tortured, killed, murdered, and forgotten for eternity. You would still be source. It wouldn't change a damn thing about being source. You don't need to be suffering at all to preserve your safety.
So what you see right here, he's saying, let me quote it, "You can be absolutely unsafe in process of being raped, tortured, killed, murdered, and forgotten for eternity. You would still be source. It wouldn't change a damn thing about being source." Some people in the non-duality community will come to me and say, "Yeah, that's right. You are source. You're God. So all of that doesn't matter." But what is this promoting in his mind? If you now see him just thinking it's fine that all these things happen, then on the other side, it's fine if he does it, and he does it. He does do these things. He does do this rape roleplay, and it's fine to him. And this is the justification, you see? The justification is based on the non-duality teachings, on that everything is one, everything is source. And whatever happens in the relative world, it doesn't matter because everything is source. You could say that's true, but even if it's true, what is this doing? This is creating a lack of resistance for the people when he's gonna do these actions to him. When he does rape someone, it's all source. It's all source. It doesn't matter. You are still source. You are still one with God. It doesn't matter what happens to you. You're still source. You're still happy. So I can abuse you, but it doesn't matter because I am source and you are source and everything is one. This is very flawed teaching. You see, this is very flawed, and it's subtle because you probably don't notice this. But I notice these things because I have looked at many of his videos, and that's where I stumbled upon. So now I'm exposing this. That is the trap. The trap of non-duality is that it gives you endless ways to justify any kind of behavior that you do. You can justify anything in the name of non-duality. And that's the problem. The problem is that psychopaths can use non-duality against you. Non-dual teachings have no ethics in place. Or even if they do, that doesn't mean it still not can become unethical. In religion, you have hard rules. You have the rule of you cannot kill someone, you cannot do this or that or sis or so. In the whole Bible, it's just only rules. It's basically ethics to the max, right? I have my Bible right here. It's endlessly ethical stuff. And with non-duality, those ethics, you know, they're no longer there so much. It's a gray area. And this is the problem with non-duality, because if you have non-duality and you teach that to a psychopath, to someone very selfish, to someone, some rapist or something, he is going to justify all of his behavior by non-duality. Also, he's teaching this to others, right? So he's teaching this to make people more open to when this happens to them, right? When he comes and rapes them, he now can say, you had to listen to my teaching. This is what I was saying. It gets just way more absurd than I ever had imagined. It's like as if I'm taking a psychedelic trip when I'm listening to this. But it's happening, right? I cannot believe it's happening, but it's happening. And we have to look at it. And we have to be honest about how stable are these non-dual teachings, not just his teachings, but overall these Eastern teachings about non-duality. How sensitive are they actually to being abused? Because what we see right here, it's very sensitive to being abused. It's very easily being misled. And the moment you think you have no ego and you're enlightened, you think you have zero ego and you're enlightened and you have no pitfalls whatsoever, that is when you are just a mirror. You're just reflecting whatever is going on in them, and you have no ego. But you do have an ego, because you go out and eat every single day. You go out and make money every single day. You go out and take care of your body. That's all ego. It's not ego in a big sense, but it's still ego. It's still survival. So you do have an ego. And the pitfall of just going into consciousness and being aware and thinking that you don't have any ego or pitfalls or things that could go wrong and that you're finished, that's a huge pitfall that some of these gurus have, because they believe they are complete, they are perfect, there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm not saying that people cannot be forgiven or whatever, but to say that this is what we should promote to the world is insane. It's absolutely insane. I'm filming this the next day, that's why I have different clothes on. So let's get further. We're gonna watch another clip. Watch this.
In the very act of my desire of loving her can actually be too much to handle, and she needs space, and this can be really beautiful at times and Shakespearean tragedy at other times.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing. And what's the problem?
It hurts.
Okay. Good. Why does it hurt? What do you believe about it that makes it painful? Because inherently it's free of pain. You loving as much as you can and her going like, oh, let me go in the other room, that's inherently free from pain. Like on a molecular level, there's no pain. Physically, there's no pain transmitted. So it hurts you because of a belief that is far out of alignment with your true self's perspective of the scenario. That's what you feel as the pain, is the distance between your true vibration and where you place your vibration. Your perspective, in other words.
When you look at this clip, the person says he's in pain, he's hurt, and he's kind of like, oh, that's good. Great, that's good. So it's like, you know, there's not really that heartfelt, empathetic thing to him. Everything is very logical, and it's just a belief that is in alignment, and therefore it's not true. It's very harsh teaching in the sense of like there's no empathy or any consideration of like being human and being having feelings, having emotions. All of these things, they don't matter. If it's either in alignment or not, if it's not in alignment, it feels bad. If it's in alignment, it feels good. So anything that's out of alignment is just not true. It's just false. He's so logical about this. It's like, okay, great, good. And it's this kind of dry logic that has no heart in it. Let's take a look at another clip.
Again, if you separate and you're like, okay, I am affected by this thing and now I need to get this thing to feel better about that thing, you're lost. And it's a struggle. Seeking becomes a struggle. It becomes lateral instead of vertical. It becomes horizontal. So let it be. That's just an illusion that you are affected, and it's an illusion that that's wrong, and it's an illusion that being affected hurts you. Even being affected in body, mind, energy, aura doesn't affect you. It's just part of the painting that looks ugly. It looks painful. It looks affected. But the paint is not affected by the shape of being affected.
So you can see right here again is logic, right? It's very, very logical. There's no heart in it. So what he's saying is like, you're affected. Let yourself be affected, let it be. And in a way you could say, okay, that's all right, that's good advice. But then it's kind of disassociating from what is happening. Instead of focusing on your hurt and pain and healing that, now he's actually saying, you know, you are God, right? You are God, you are consciousness. So whatever happens in the world, it doesn't matter. If you're hurt, if you're affected, great, good. It doesn't matter. Let it be. Let yourself be affected, right? Let yourself be abused. That's basically what he's saying. Let yourself be abused, let it be. Let yourself be affected by it. It doesn't matter. Because if you feel hurt by it, right? Because he's going to hurt people. If you're going to feel hurt by it, if you're going to feel hurt by it, it's not you. Because you are consciousness, and consciousness is never affected by anything. Because consciousness is never affected by anything. Any of the things that are happening in your world, therefore shouldn't hurt you. And anytime it hurts you, it's not abuse, it's not any of those things. No, it's not you're not a victim or anything. No, what it is that you have a belief that's out of alignment. So everything is out of alignment what hurts, even when someone hurts you. So therefore you can never be a victim. That's his whole idea, is you can never be a victim, because he doesn't want people to be a victim. Because when they're in the victim mentality, they can accuse you. But if you're not in the victim mentality, they cannot accuse him. Because it's empowerment, you see? Empowerment means you're now not being a victim anytime. And that's also this logical thing, it's always like there's no feeling to it. It's always you're not affected. It's always you're not hurt. You're just having a belief that's wrong. You're just having a wrong belief. You're just out of alignment. Just have a belief that's out of alignment. It's never the circumstances. And in a way that sounds really beautiful, but what it actually is preparing everyone for is for the abuse. Because when you do get abused, you're not allowing yourself to be in a victim mindset, because you think, when I'm in a victim mentality, I'm gonna accuse that person. He doesn't want that. Let's look at another clip.
Relationships don't exist. There is no such thing as a relationship. It's a complete figment of our imagination. It's a complete story. It's just an agreement. That's why, like I said previously, now it's silly to me to think of one of my biggest fears used to be my girlfriend cheating on me. I just have to giggle at that. Like, that seems so nerdy. That seems so silly, with all due respect to those who still believe that is possible. But I have been cheated upon several times. And at the time, it seemed like a real experience. And now it's like, it's not possible. How can someone cheat on you? It's just not possible. Just, we can start with that as an entrance point into no relationship. Relationships don't exist. They're just agreements. And for the most part, they're agreements to, and I'd be curious to find exceptions to this, if you guys know of any exceptions. But typically, relationship means I agree to not do this and this and this and that. If you agree to not do this and this and this and that, because if you don't do this and this and this and that, if you stay within these parameters, within these confines that I've set up for you, that you agree to and I agree to, then I can continue to feel safe within my victim state, within my disempowered state of knowing myself, and you can continue to feel safe. So basically,
what you see here is him dismantling any type of relationship idea that you have. Relationships aren't real. It's just an agreement. If a relationship is just an agreement, then he can use other people's relationship and dismantle those and do what he has done with Dennis kissing Corey in front of her partner. Dennis and Corey had a relationship, but a relationship is not real. It's just an agreement. So cheating doesn't exist. And the funny thing is that he himself reveals that his biggest fear is cheating. And he says he got over it, but what I hear from the stories, he doesn't really got over it. He didn't really got over it. And what you see a lot with people that have a bit more narcissistic tendencies, what you see a lot with people that have more narcissistic tendencies is that they get really, really jealous. They really fear cheating because it's about the validation. They need the validation. Narcissists need validation. They cannot have someone else get the validation and not them. That makes them feel not good enough. Right? So he's completely dismantling every relationship. Relationships aren't real. They're just agreements. Nothing is real about it. Again, this very logical type of thinking of like, there's no feelings, there's no love in it. It's just an agreement. That's it. Cheating is not real because it's just an agreement. And that gives him the permission slip to do all of these things behind their back or in front of their face. You see, it gives him the permission slip to do whatever in relationships because it's just agreements. Relationships aren't real. Let's look at another clip.
I need to be center stage victim of my own story. And the only way I can do that is to distort every kind thing everyone ever did to me and make myself superior to that and make myself in a righteous position as the victim. So also to see how some of the people that I've experienced being close to, how they have the ability to distort data and not be factual with events and not remember. That was another shocking thing to me. Just like she didn't remember the profound experience she had the night before. Like it never happened. Also the details of occurrences in the past. The more time passes and the more they repeat the story, which they do because they're addicted to that story. It's a painful process, or it's a painful fact, but they're addicted to that story. Because again, they need to corroborate, they need to substantiate their position as the victim.
So in this video, he's talking again about victim mentality. And what he goes into the relationships that he had and how he attracted people with victim mentality. Not thinking himself that maybe he was the one creating victims, that he was the abuser. No, he attracted people with the victim mentality. It was not him being an abuser. And that they were not factual about what was going on. He basically is accusing them of making up stories of being a victim and that they forgot what really happened. They forgot what really happened. They're not factual. I am factual. I'm not an abuser. I just attract victims. People with victim mentality. And everything they say is not true, it's not real, it's not factual. That's basically what he's saying in this video. Let's look at another clip.
To the horrific nature of victim consciousness, to the point where there are separate personalities and absolutely no ability to let any kind of truth in. Anything would get instantly distorted, and it's like you're talking to a program. And it's painful because you love the entity, you love the being, and you want to be of service, but it doesn't matter what you do. You can surrender to their stories, you can admit whatever they claim is happening, even if reasonably it's not at all true. You can try to fight it, you can try to just be quiet and let it be. You can offer love, gentleness, you can try some tough love and some suggestions. You can try to teach, you can try not to teach. You can try to touch, you can try not to touch. It doesn't matter.
It's funny because here he goes again, right? With the horrific victim mentality. Why is it horrific, a victim mentality? If someone has victim mentality or not, like, I'm not really bothered by it, right? But for him it's horrific because he's gonna get accused by the people with a victim mentality. So everything in his teaching is about empowerment and getting away from victim mentality. Because anytime someone is getting into victim mentality, it's a threat to him because they could accuse him. And therefore he says it's horrific. And he is saying, I do this and I do that and I do this and so, and no matter what I do, they're stuck in this victim mentality and I cannot get it right. basically accusing the victim of having a victim mentality instead of seeing that he was wrong and having any type of self-reflection. So the blame is always on the victim because the victim had a horrific victim mentality, right? That's the problem. We should solve that. We should solve everyone to not have the victim mentality and just feel empowered no matter if I abuse them or not. If I steal their money, if I rape them, it doesn't matter. You shouldn't ever be in a victim mentality. That's his teaching, basically. He's like, I tried everything. I tried to talk to them differently. I tried to talk to them this way, but it didn't work. Whatever I tried, it didn't work because they were stuck in victim mentality. No, no. You created victims, okay? If you create victims, people are gonna be in a victim mentality. It's not, he's turning the world upside down. It's like, imagine you go to someone, you steal their money, and then that person is like, I want to have my money back. Why did you steal my money? He's like, stop having a victim mentality. Feel empowered no matter what happens. that is ridiculous, right? In that circumstance, the person that got stolen the money is the victim, but he's like putting the blame on them for having a victim mentality. It's just so crazy. It's crazy if you look at this. Let's look at another clip.
So it's tempting for us to go into our suffering like that when it's like so depressing and when it's victimizing, because then we can feel the gratification of being a victim and being somebody at least that's like that's been wronged or that doesn't get what it wants or God hates me or whatever it is. And so it's tempting to go in that direction. So therefore it takes courage, combination of courage and getting so exhausted with that to the point of where you're done believing in your own thoughts. You're done believing in your own right to suffer, so to speak. Your own choice to suffer. You're so done with it. And then you begin to see there's another option. I could choose not to suffer about this.
He's now explaining that getting into a victim mindset is tempting. It's tempting to go into a victim mindset and feel bad about what happened. So instead of feeling like that, you have to be kind of exhausted by this victim mentality till you drop it and see that there's another way. And what is the other way? The other way is to keep being abused by him. So the other way is just to not hold on to this victim mentality, to just drop it, to stop believing in your own thoughts. You have a thought of like, this is wrong, this happened, and he's saying, don't be righteous, don't stand up for yourself, don't have victim mentality. Why? Why? Why is this so important? This has nothing to do with consciousness. Why is this so important? It's important because he doesn't want you to accuse him. And he wants people to stay with him, keep being abused by him. And the only way that's going to happen is if they're going to drop their victim mentality of them being a victim and instead be empowered. I'm empowered because I'm letting go of my victim mentality. I'm no longer going to believe in my thoughts. And your thoughts might be, he's an asshole, I hate him, what did he do to me, right? But you should drop those thoughts. You shouldn't believe in those thoughts. And you shouldn't have any type of victim mentality. And you should feel empowered. And that's going to make you happy. Even in the abuse, even when you're getting raped, even when your money gets stolen, even when I take everything from you, you're still going to be happy. Because you have letting go of the victim mentality and now you're in an empowered state. Where no matter what I do to you, you will surrender. And surrender sounds beautiful when it's like to a god or to something, but now you're surrendering to a cult leader. You see, you're surrendering to a cult leader. And he's gonna take everything from you. He's gonna take your money, he's gonna take sex if he finds you attractive, he's gonna take everything from you. So this might be one of the craziest clips I've seen. Let's look at another one.
And at that time, that was, for me, that was like the worst. Like my biggest fears in life were, and it's just funny thinking back at this, but like really my biggest fears, like bigger than fear of my own death, or anything else I could have imagined, is either my partner dying or that she would leave me or that she would cheat on me. So, and now that sounds ridiculous to me, especially the last one. like if she would cheat on me. It's like, because in my mind that doesn't even exist anymore, cheating on someone. And I'll get to why. So it's had this long evolving curve basically to get to where I'm at today.
So this is also interesting, right? He's talking about his biggest fears, and his biggest fears weren't death, weren't the obvious ones. His biggest fear was getting cheated on. And he says he has overcome it. What I hear from the stories, he hasn't overcome it. So this sounds like a typical narcissistic behavior, because when you are scared of being cheated upon, or some girl flaking you, or dying, it means you have serious need for validation. If you need your partner to be there to give you love and to give you all that validation, and you would rather die because he's not so afraid of death, you would rather die than him being cheated upon. That sounds like a typical narcissistic thing to have, because narcissists do crazy stuff that's life-threatening to them. What narcissists really are scared of is losing validation, losing attention, losing people to praise them. Because without people putting them on a pedestal, they are nothing. So they need people to put them on a pedestal to be something. That's what narcissism is. It's putting yourself above others. I'm in the absolute, you are down here. So then his biggest fear is not dying, but his biggest fear is being cheated upon. And he says he has overcome it. I don't believe any of it. So those were the clips for today. What you saw was him emphasizing this victim mentality, emphasizing that people's beliefs are out of alignment, and that's the only reason they feel hurt, pain, or feeling like a victim. Feeling hurt, pain, victimhood, all of these things are basically your fault. They are your fault, and you can overcome that by being empowered. It sounds beautiful. It is very ugly, because when you know the truth is that he does this to get people out of victim mentality and into a state where they're able to be abused, able to get used, able to be taken from. Because you cannot resist, you cannot stand up for your righteous thoughts, because whatever you believe, whatever your thoughts are, they are not true. Because they feel hurt and they feel painful, so they must not be true. The only thing that's true is that you are always empowered and that you're non-affected, because your consciousness, you're non-affected, your consciousness. So it doesn't matter what happens to you. That's all of his teachings. It doesn't matter what happens to you. You can be abused, you can be used, anything can happen to you. That doesn't mean anything about anything. And that's exactly how he gets you to surrender to him. Because he doesn't want you necessarily to surrender to God. He wants you to surrender to him. To surrender your belongings to him. Your stuff, your money, anything. And to not be righteous about it. Not say you're wrong for doing that. If he gets 100,000 euros from you, the last thing he wants you to do is to be angry about it and to stand up for yourself about it, about what he did. And it sounds beautiful. It sounds like a surrender of Jesus, right? It sounds like I'm surrendering just like Jesus on the cross. I'm getting nailed and it's fine. He wants everyone to surrender just like Jesus did on the cross. But instead of surrendering to some God, you need to surrender to him. And that's what he's teaching. So it's so close to spirituality in the sense of surrender, but then it's surrender to him. And that's where the problem is. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to see a part 3, let me know in the comments. I might make a part 3, so also subscribe for that. And I will see you in the next video.